Alhamdulillah, Assalamualaikum folks. Welcome back to another episode of the MMF Podcast. It's been a while and Happy New Year!
Happy New
Yeah!
Year.
January of 2025. Lots have happened in 2024, but one of the most interesting developments for this year is the launch of Singapore's first Takaful product in over 10 years. The last time we had a Takaful product was in 2013 when HSBC Takaful closed. So now we have a new one launched by Etiqa Insurance Private Limited, part of the Maybank Group. And they've launched a new ILP that is Takaful. But before we go into all of that, we got to go into the differences between Takaful, conventional insurance. Tu apa? What are all these things? Kan? Gents, have you all heard of the term Takaful?
Yeah.
Yes.
So what is it?
Usually I'm only thinking like Snowman that kind.
Snowman! I've not heard that. No.
Lama.
Uh,
Most of the time I heard it in Malaysia.
what? Big in Malaysia?
Most of the time I heard this Takaful in Malaysia lah. Takaful.
And what is it?
Can we buy Takaful in Malaysia?
Can. It's the same.
But what is Takaful?
You can just go overseas and buy any insurance plan, but then they will have certain restrictions. Whether are you a resident, are you a passerby? So certain policies you can buy. Then you have to look whether it even covers you if you're outside of the originating country. So can buy. Insurance will take your money. Whether or not they will pay out if something happened to you is a different matter. But yeah, so just back to this. What is Takaful? What do you guys know of Takaful? What is it?
One of our WhatsApp clients actually did this thing with a mosque. She actually said it's like an insurance, Takaful insurance, where they all contribute to a certain fund, and then if something were to happen, they get a certain amount out of it. But my thoughts is like, how much do you actually get back, and what kind of coverage does it actually guarantee, if in the event of certain situations, and what situations are actually covered? Whereas for her, it's more like in the event of death, that kind of thing. Then they get certain money to help out the family members of the deceased.
I think that one will be more for khairat kematian. So most I think in previous generation they have a lot of it where they have groups or communities where they pool funds together in a mosque. So it's not just restricted to urusan jenazah. Sometimes when there is family needs in terms of emergency, these pools of money is being used to support them. Yeah. So that's one of it. I think that's the one that she's referring to.
Yeah, most likely is that. In fact, my mother-in-law was telling me that she's been contributing to this Khairat Kematian, to this really old mosque for, she was telling me, 20, 30 years. And then the mosque closed. And then she's like, yeah, I don't know where the money went.
Equally sharing.
I don't
Coffee
know,
sharing.
I don't know. But on that note of Khairat Kematian, where it's a pooled resources for the benefit of each individual member, that's very similar to what Takaful is. And so one of the biggest differences between conventional insurance, like what we normally see today, and Takaful is the concept of risk sharing versus risk transference. So in a conventional insurance, you pay the insurer, say I pay $1,000 a year, and then they will tell me if I die, I get $1 million for the family, right? So the risk is transferred from me to the insurer, where if I die, insurer give me $1 million, but I only pay the insurer $1,000 per year. Transference. The element of risk sharing, which is very much in part of Islamic contracts, risk sharing, is Takaful, where, for example, the four of us, in fact, there should be more than that, a few of us come together, contribute money, something happens to one of us, that money is then used to help the other person, pay off whatever risk that they may have. So yes, Takaful can cover death, And they can say also can be $1 million, but you need big pool of resources lah. Okay, that's element number one, where everybody shares on the risk because the money goes together. Whereas conventional, you pay the money is theirs, but the contract states that anything happens to you, they must pay. That's element number one, risk sharing versus risk transference. Another one about Takaful is very interesting because you all know about whole life plan, you all know about endowment plan, you know about these cash value plans where they give you some money back. Right?
Yeah.
So in conventional insurance, they call it a bonus. They take your money, they invest it, and then they say they make 10%. Yay, they give you 2%. But in certain years, they make less than that, they give you still 2%, yes? That one is conventional insurance where they give you a return based on whatever they've invested on. Guess what Takaful does?
No claims, they give back. Is it?
That's one. Yes. Profit sharing. They do profit sharing. So for example,
if they got more profit,
they bring some money, and then they check the claims experience. They say, hey, claims experience, okay, good. Nobody has claimed. We actually got quite a lot of excess. We return you some of your premiums, and we got what do you call that? We've got profits from our investments. We share it to our insurance holders, our policy holders. Whereas with conventional, they may not necessarily do that. Only if it's whole life or maybe if it's endowment, then they give you a little bit. So big difference. One is a risk sharing and profit sharing. The other one is risk transference, and there is no profit sharing. If they decide part of the policy is to give you money, then they will give you. There's no profit sharing. That's why when you look at insurance companies, they can be very, very profitable, but do the policy owners actually benefit from those kinds of performance? So very Islamic, right? Where we talk about risk sharing, we talk about profit sharing. Then, of course, most importantly, and something that we all like to talk about in the Halal Investor Club, is how you think they generate the profits.
Halal investments?
Of course, Of course. So a Takaful plan, yes, the Takaful insurer will need to take the money and invest. They obviously cannot invest in non-compliant or haram industry lah. That's the easiest and best benefit to me. Where obviously policy contract is Sharia compliant. Investment also Sharia compliant. InsyaAllah kita semua masuk jannah.
InsyaAllah. But when it comes to Takaful insurance, we think that because of the conventional side, you pay 1,000, you get 1 million when you pass away, or you get critical illness, that kind of thing, get maybe 300,000. So when it comes to Takaful, do you get that kind of amount, or do you get maybe 1K back, or how does it work?
So if I put in 1,000 and I get $1,000 back, I might as well keep the money under my bed, right?
Yeah. That's why. Or it's like, if I get 8% more because of the market, then might as well I go into ILP, that kind of thing, or invest myself. So yeah.
Yeah. And so to answer that question, which is very, very valid, we have to understand the concept of insurance first, which is basically the law of large numbers. Have you guys heard that? Right?
No.
I mean, between four of us, I know that 100% of us are fathers, 100% of us are married, 100% of us are male, 100% of us are over 30. But if you take a bigger number, 400,000, do you really think 100% will be fathers, male, above 30? No,
okay.
So same with things like risky endeavors. Out of, say, 1 million people, you can draw a graph, a certain percentage will get sick, a certain percentage will die, not all. Okay?
Yeah.
So same with Takaful. Same with the concept of insurance. We have 1 million people contributing, great. And we know that due to our contributions, we can help those less fortunate. We might be the one who's less fortunate in terms of dying too early, getting sick. Right? So conceptually, Takaful and insurance still fulfill the same outcome, the same objective. Protection well, financial protection lah. Just because you buy insurance doesn't mean you fall sick, right now.
Yep.
So then, why bother buying Takaful if you got insurance, if you got conventional insurance?
Riba.
Oh, yes! Thank you for that. Riba tu apa? Boleh makan
Boleh, apparently. I get the I surrender my whole life plan. I get money, I buy food. Then later, nanti neraka nanti Allah will wage war with me lah. Sedih.
Yeah, go there. But yeah, so concept of riba. Who can explain concept of riba? Come on. Our listeners are wondering, riba tu apa? Boleh makan
It is the unfair practice of charging excess when it comes to loans or interest. Is it?
I would argue that it could be fair if somebody says it. But yes, you are right. It is just remove the word unfair. It is just the practice of charging more money when you lend out money. Is it? It's just money on money. Excess. The word is excess or usury. And so, yes, one obvious big reason why we want to go into Takaful is to avoid riba. And us as Muslims, we have obviously very, very strict terms or strict rules that we have to follow when it comes to the things that we consume, whether it's makan, minum, whether it's financial products, all those things. So now that we have a new product by Etiqa, and we can carry it, by the way. Oh, just by the way, for all our listeners, all of my guests today, our regular guests, are all independent financial advisors. Okay, we are partnered with 18 different life insurance companies, 30 over general insurance companies, 11 different investment platforms. Okay, platform, not insurance company. And Alhamdulillah, one of those partners from whole life insurance has finally launched a Takaful product. And that particular company is called Etiqa. It's a yellow colored company, if you know. And they are part of the Maybank Group. And so they have launched a new Takaful product that we waited a decade for called Invest Future. It's an ILP. And now some people will tell me, wow, now that we have a halal option, we must then buy the halal option. Because it's my favorite analogy, right? I always say, you go to a food court, all the stalls, all haram. Right? All haram, you got one vegetarian stall. So you eat vegetarian lah that day. It's not certified halal, but it's vegetarian. You buy lah. That's the current situation in Singapore, right?
Yep.
There are no Takaful products, therefore all haram. I then buy term plan, I buy the bare minimum, I just make sure I get enough to cover.
Based on Darura lah.
Based on Darura. Then somebody will tell me, hey, now this food court, one of the stall is a nasi padang stall. Right? It's certified halal. The one selling the food in front is a Malay makcik muka masam. Right? Therefore, you must only buy from that one makcik. Right? In this case, unfortunately, we are the one makcik. We're the only one who can carry this. Right? Does that mean that we must only buy this one particular plan that is an ILP called Invest Future by Etiqa? Guys, what do you think?
But it doesn't meet the rest of the needs coverage. You see, like what's coming up is ILP, but it doesn't cover your hospitalization, your personal accidents. So nak tunggu mati baru dapat.
So let's go a bit further into that. You mentioned the ILP doesn't cover all the necessary coverage, right? Let's ask one. One has been very, very quiet. Kita test this kid. One, what is the necessary coverage for people?
The one that you always be mentioning, the model 5+1 model. So 5+1 basically is the insurance coverage. Firstly is the hospitalization and surgery. Second is the personal accident. Third is the critical illness. Fourth is the death and disability. Fifth is apa tu disability income. And last but not least is the gender-specific insurance coverage. Depending on whether male or female lah. Kau jangan buat itu, nanti kena cancel.
Later our
Yeah,
video got
so
flagged.
so yeah, the 5+1 model basically is the essential insurance that everybody is required lah.
Okay, so 5+1 essential insurance coverage that everybody needs. And to recap, it's hospitalization, personal accident, critical illness, death, disability income, and a gender-specific coverage for men and women, right? So my question to you is, where does an ILP fall under?
Might be death and permanent disability, and maybe some of the ILP got CI coverage also. But for this Takaful one, I don't know lah. But from what I normally hear, it definitely cover death and permanent disability.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And so let's look at it not just from a Takaful perspective, but from a specific product perspective. What is an ILP? Astri, what's an ILP?
ILP is an investment-linked policy where it's a life policy where it covers you for maybe 5,000 of death. Main purpose of it, usually we use it for investments. The underlying funds could be a unit trust, or it depends what your financial consultant want to put inside.
Okay, close. Close, I got to correct it there. Kau kata apa? Death 5,000 je.
So it depends if it's a one-on-one ILP. Okay, so when it comes to death, they give you 1% more of what your portfolio value is. But if other than that, it's usually they give only 5K more, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't it?
Chop. Okay, this part dah salah. Okay, from
Okay.
what I said, few plans are the one that gives you 5,000 for death coverage. ILP, whether conventional or 101, gives you depending. It's not a number 5,000. Okay, Kak, let's throw the ball to Zul. Zul pun tengah diam, tu pun stress. What is an ILP?
ILP is an investment-linked policy, mostly used. I mean, objective for ILP is for savings, investments for long term. So it covers PPD, death, and your payout depends on your market performance and whatever is being invested in.
Hey, closer. Come on. What is an ILP?
Okay,
Kita tajuk ILP lah.
Okay, the ILP have a life coverage, a total permanent disability, and at the same time, the investment portion, so that the policy holder can accumulate and also at the same time invest lah.
Okay, fantastic. Fantastic answers all around. Okay. God, let me give you the textbook answer. After 12 years in the industry, if I don't know the textbook answer, aku stress lah. Okay, so an investment-linked policy is a type of life insurance policy that covers the policy owner for death at the minimum. Depending on the riders you add on, it can cover total permanent disability. It can cover major or critical illnesses, and you can also add on a critical illness premium waiver. That's pretty much it in terms of insurance coverage. It doesn't cover you if you go to hospital. It doesn't cover you if you're in an accident. It doesn't pay you a monthly benefit in case you are disabled. It doesn't pay you anything specific for male or female illnesses. Only usually death and critical illness if you add on. Then there is an investment component to it where your premiums, part of it, will be used to invest in certain unit trusts. Every ILP will have a pool of unit trusts it can pick from. Some insurers will have a lot, some insurers will have very, very few. Whether or not your insurance agent knows what are the right ones to pick is an entirely different question. I have met people join the industry 3 months. Yes, I'm an investment specialist. I'm expert. I can invest for you. and then they give the worst performing funds for the client. And because it's an ILP, is it an insurance contract?
Yes.
Insurance contract, does it have restrictions?
Yes.
Does it have fees to cover? So do you think your investments that go in, are they being used to pay for the investments or pay for your insurance coverage?
Insurance coverage.
Cover for
More
insurance
the
coverage, right?
age, especially when your age increases, then your insurance also need to pay more.
Right. The older you get, insurance cheaper or more expensive?
More.
More expensive. Therefore, your investments that are used to pay for the insurance, do they take less or do they take more?
Take more for the life.
So eventually, you hold your ILP for 20 years, you think your ILP got money or no money?
Yes. Got money lah. A bit lah.
Got a little bit. So that's why a lot of my clients, when they come to me, they're like, Afiq, I've been holding this ILP for 20 years. How come the value never go up? Then we just break it down. The fees are super high. The investments are not performing. And the worst part is, yeah, if I give up the plan now, do I even get money back? Then like, yeah, I surrender the plan, I get zero. So I might as well continue paying. Good, continue paying. And then when you finally finish, you still get zero. Now, I'm not saying ILPs are bad. ILPs fit into a very specific niche for people who have very specific outcomes. If your current insurance plan doesn't cover 5+1, don't use it. If your current insurance plan does not cover your hospitalization, your personal accident, your critical illness, your death, your disability income, and any specific gender-related illnesses, then don't get the plan. So let's go back to the Etiqa Invest Future ILP. Number one, Takaful plan. Halal, yes? Yes. Then because it's an ILP, likely you can pick the investments underneath. So you should pick the halal ones, yes? Both halal, left and right, yes?
Yeah.
Yes.
Halal, does it mean good for you? It depends. I give you an example.
All sukuk fund inside.
All sukuk, sukuk is neither good nor bad. Neither good nor bad. It depends. Like for example, I like to use this analogy. If every day you eat KFC, KFC halal, no?
Yes.
KFC halal. Best. Sedap. Siapa suka KFC? Bedek whoever don't like KFC.
I like McDonald's.
McDonald's.
Right? Every single day you eat KFC, you hit 40 critical illness. Right? So just because something is halal doesn't mean it is good for you. It depends very, very much situationally. So to all our listeners and our viewers, I would suggest this. Before you start running towards Etiqa and buying up the ILP, because you will hear a lot of insurance agents tell you, yeah, it's Takaful, yeah, it's halal, buy now. You will hear a lot of them say that. Understand that something that, while it is halal, may not necessarily mean it is suitable for you. Okay? And so if any of you think that the Etiqa plan might suit you, drop us a message. We'll be more than happy to help you and show you whether or not this plan makes sense. And so in conclusion, for today's episode, yes, there's a new Takaful plan in 2025. Alhamdulillah. Let's see if it fits into our overall coverage, because you still need the 5+1. Gents, anything to say in closing? Ashwin.
To our viewers out there, Happy New Year. Glad to see you all again. Hope to see you guys. We're having a WhatsApp class this coming Saturday, live in person. So we do hope for more sign-ups and hopefully I'll see you all there.
Thank you, Ashwin. What about you, Zul?
Happy New Year to all our viewers and listeners. I mean, it's it's something new that's out in the market for after 10 years, Takaful. But it may not be the best for you. Depends on your situation lah. So I think the best thing to do is, DM us, consult with us so that we can go through what are your lapses and whether it's suitable for you in the first place. Yep.
Inshallah. Thank you. What about you, Wan?
Right. Thank you again for sharing.
Thank
Why
you.
you laugh?
It's not the first time you've been on our podcast, bro, and we're seeing you more often. But yes, back to you, Wan.
Yeah, inshallah. Inshallah, I'll be contributing. Okay. And yes, for this Takaful, the first time I hear also it's quite very exciting. And inshallah, we look forward to more of it. To having more of the halal store available for our Muslim community in Singapore. And definitely, it's not just because halal straight away we buy it. There is definitely more than that, other than the front name Takaful. And yeah, continue listening to our podcast to understand more. Then they always DM us like what Zul say everything. We will be more than happy to help you guys out.
Alhamdulillah. Awesome stuff, Wan. And that's absolutely true. So one of the things in closing I want to say is this. Yes, there's a new Takaful product. Yes, we have to be careful. But if nobody takes up the plan, Etiqa will say, oh, it's a lousy thing. Takaful in Singapore cannot make money. Not profitable. Then we will pull out Takaful from Singapore again. So yeah, so folks, those of you out there, my strong suggestion, yes, we should support this new initiative. Yes, if we can consume a halal product, by all means, we should consume the halal product and show that the market is ready for halal products. But if it's a lousy product, we also have to give them feedback. They say, hey, dude, it's no good. I really, really hope that Etiqa thinks that the market is really, really ready and they will start launching other products like term plans, hospitalization plans, personal accident plans that are all Takaful in nature. Then we can have complete 5+1 coverage all throughout, which is fully Sharia compliant, fully Takaful, fully halal, inshallah. My name is Afiq, Chief Finance Ninja at Modern Muslim Finance. These are my brothers from other mothers, Asri, Zul, and Wan. We shall see you at the next episode, inshallah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Send us your questions about Takaful. What are the stuff that keeps you awake at night? We'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye.